The 2025 British Grand Prix race week is finally here, and I cannot wait for it. It is going to be a spectacular race weekend. Lewis Hamilton, in the first time in his career in a Ferrari in Silverstone in front of his home crowd, is just going to be spectacular. Yes, I know that Ferrari right now isn't in a good state, especially Lewis Hamilton, but if you're patient, things will work itself out, and he will be competitive in due course. But for right now, he will more than likely struggle, but we still have some more home drivers like George Russell and Lando Norris, and heck, even Ollie Behrman in the race that have a chance to do really well. And today I'm here to give y'all my full-on predictions for the race, but also give y'all a little rundown about the track, so stay tuned for that. But enough said here, and on to the intro we go.
Hey, Ryan Blaney here, and you're watching William Blackman on YouTube.
There you go. There's the official track layout for the British Grand Prix. Yes, I am not a professional. You don't have to go in the comments and say it, but I tried my best. But let's shift the focus now to the race picks. I think that right now, heading into the British Grand Prix race weekend, that the weather is going to favor the Mercedes, in my opinion, with the temperatures not being as hot as they were in Austria. I think that Mercedes is going to bring the fight to McLaren, and I think that George Russell will get his second win of the year at his home Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, that is. And George Russell, if he were to win this race, he will eliminate all the talks and considerations from the media that Max Verstappen is going to take a seat. I think now all the attention turns, unfortunately, to Kimi Antonelli. I know Kimi Antonelli was thrown into the fire here by Toto Wolff because he had to replace Lewis Hamilton, who retired, and they really couldn't get a bridge driver in there because Antonelli was ultimately the final goal to have in that car at some point, maybe 26 or 27. But Antonelli's on the hot seat suddenly. And I feel for him. He's 18 years old, has loads of improvement to do, but he's young. He's going to get better. And I just don't know what the right thing here is for Mercedes. You wait a year and see how things go and reevaluate it next year at this time. See if you want to bring in Max for 27. But then again, Max might be off the market by then. So I think that Toto Wolff is going to do something very chaotic. It's going to cause a lot of bad things to happen. I think Toto Wolff is going to set off a big match and start a fire. And Mercedes is going to be the one to start it off, like I said. And I think Red Bull is going to steal a driver for Mercedes, probably Antonelli. I could envision right now that you have an Arvid Lindblad and a Kimi Antonelli Red Bull team next year. There's a legit possibility of that happening. Yuki Tsunoda is definitely not going to be with the team next year. And I think Lawson and Hadjar are doing subpar and not bad enough nor good enough to improve. I think Hadjar these last couple of weeks has shown his flaws, while Lawson's kind of even things out. So we'll see how things go. We're just a little under halfway of the year, so things can change. But I think right now Antonelli has to start proving himself, because if he doesn't, he could very well be the odd man out. But there you go. George Russell P1 shooting up the contract talks for now. P2, Lando Norris. Lando Norris right now, he's just ever so slightly catching his teammate Oscar Piastri in the World Drivers' Championship. I think he's going to get it at some point and even things out before December break. But afterwards, it's going to be Papaya Rules 101. Because we're going to see the team being on both drivers. Hey, respect each other. We're teammates. There's no need to take each other out. Because I think in the second half of the year, we're going to see some teams get a lot better and some teams get a whole lot worse. And I think the sharp end of things, I could very well see Red Bull just say, you know what? Let's tap out. Let's focus on 26. And that could very well happen. And I think that'd be one less contender for McLaren. But then again, Red Bull wasn't really up there in the constructors. If you took away Verstappen, it would be dead last in the championship. Let that sink in. But yeah, I think that Lando Norris, and he's going to close the gap down to Piastri, and it's going to be an interesting championship battle. But I think that Zach Brown and Andreas Della, they're going to make sure that this is a professional championship, not one where it is take each other out and it gets very cancerous, and you don't want to see that. No one doesn't. No one wants to see like those kind of scenes like we saw with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen towards the end of 2021. That wasn't right. That's not Formula One, and it's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be a gentleman's race, and the best man wins, and no demolition derby. No, there's none of it. But I think Norris P2, P3, Charles Leclerc P4 will be Oscar Piastri. I think he's going to have another shocker weekend. But I think if he can make it through till this summer break, the second half of the season opens up for him. I think that Piastri has a lot of good racetracks coming up in the second half of the year. I think he'll be on par with Norris heading into the summer break. But afterwards, I think that Piastri may run away with the championship just because how good he is at some of these tracks coming up. So keep an eye on him. P5, you got Max Verstappen. 6, Kimi Antonelli. 7, Lewis Hamilton. 8, Alexander Albon. And if you're an Alex Albon fan, I'm sorry. I really am. Alex Albon has had the worst luck in Formula One this year. Hopefully things can change for him. Alonso P9, Lawson P10. Lawson getting more and more competitive as the weeks go by in the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. I think you can call me wild, you can call me insane, you can do whatever. I think that Lawson may get back into Red Bull sooner rather than later. I think that right now, with Hadjar showing his flaws, and if Verstappen were to even get a race ban, Lawson's going to be the guy. But I think that Lawson's going to replace Tsunoda in due course. I think it's going to happen maybe before or after the summer break. I think it's going to happen. Christian Horner is getting visually more and more upset with Tsunoda's performances. So there you go there. Esteban Ocon P11. 12, Gabriel Bortoleto. 13, Franco Colapinto. Franco has to start improving. I'm a big fan of Franco. I think that he's a very spectacular driver. He's in the best situation. Flavio Briatore was a very big supporter of him, and since the decision to replace him with replace Jack Doohan with Franco Colapinto, I think that Flavio has kind of lost some credibility, and he's starting to feel the pressure, and he's easing his support on Franco, and it's just a matter of time until Franco has a bad situation, and Flavio says, you know what? I'm done. Move the next person in, and it's going to probably be Valtteri Bottas, according to many rumors. So, Franco, if he doesn't perform well, he's going to get the boot. But I think if he finishes 13th this week and beats Pierre Gasly, I think Gasly will have to start worrying about his seat. Because you can never count anything out with Flavio Briatore running Alpine. And I'm not trying to diss Flavio. I like Flavio Briatore. I think he's doing a great job moving this team forward. You got to cut out all the bad crap in order to be successful. This year is just a bridge year. Next year is a championship year, in his opinion. But very good there. 14, Tsunoda. Big rivals of Franco Colapinto suddenly. P15, Ollie Behrman. 16, Nico Hulkenberg. 17, Pierre Gasly. I said he's going to lose the head-to-head battle with Colapinto. 18, Lance Stroll. And now we're going to the DNFs. I think Sainz and Hadjar will DNF. But there you go. There's my British Grand Prix race picks. George Russell wins. What do you think? Comment down below.